Hello and welcome to this quick video on this thing here. This is a little 3-axis gimbal. It can be used either upright to hold your little FPV camera in this orientation, or it can be slung underneath something to look in this orientation. Now, I have been looking for a small little lightweight gimbal like this for a very long time. Those of you that have been watching the channel for a long time remember I kind of played about with gimbals many moons ago. They tended to be very finicky things that were hard to set up, that you had to do PID tuning on, and they were just a pain in the butt. However, this is a new one from the guys at HEQ, and this is the new G-Port gimbal. Now, I've seen this on the website and I thought, let me get one in to have a play with. And I just thought I'd share this with you as kind of a first look video, because unfortunately it's not exactly what I was after, because it doesn't have the ability to mount a simple action camera or something on here. It's actually designed to mount the HD FPV camera here on the gimbal itself, and it's designed around either the Walksnail unit, which is the one that I've got here, or it's designed around a DJI O3A unit. Sadly, they're not interchangeable, because what it actually does, it has a cable that goes into the avatar unit if it's Walksnail, or your O3A unit if it's DJI. Runs all the way up through the gimbal and pops out here at the front, so that's where you would plug your camera in. So while I unbox this, let's talk about the specs. Now, this is a little bit bigger than I would have liked as well, but this is probably one of the smallest ones that I've personally had in here. So it's 67.5 millimeters high, 49 by 49 millimeters at the base. It's about half a millimeter wider than it is deep, but that means that it will fit on most smaller quads and potentially on the nose of some of the larger planes. This is a mechanical 3-axis gimbal, although you can only control 2 of the axes. I'll show you that in a minute. Weight is about 67 grams. The gimbal angles are for pitch minus 135 to 45 degrees, which does mean it's better when it's upside down than it is with the camera at the top. Yaw is minus 135 to plus 135 degrees, and roll is minus 45 to plus 45, or 90 degrees in total. The really nice thing about this is that you can actually run it from 3 different ways. You can control it via S-Bus, PWM, or potentially via a Mavlink connection, although it looks at the moment Mavlink isn't quite yet in the firmware. Supported camera types, as I've said, are either DJI O3 or Caddx, and you have to choose the right one. And the supply voltage from this is going to be 8 to 20 volts, so you're going to run it directly from your flight battery. As you can see here, it does also come with a vibration isolating mount with nice soft rubber grommets here, not particularly tricky to put together. And if you look in the manual, you can see here that the manual is basic, version 1.0, so this is obviously very new. You can see it's got the basic stuff in here, includes all the specs and the layouts and where all the connections are, including the fact that you need to, if you want to start playing with stuff and setting this up, downloading the assistant from the website. So let's talk a little bit more about the assistant. So you download it from the website, and then once you've downloaded it, you need to run the application called G-Port. That will then start. Once it's started, you can plug the control unit in via a USB-C cable, nice to see, into the computer, and then you can connect to it. So as I plug it into the computer, we should hear the tone. It's appeared as COM3, which is a very common one. We're going to open and connect to it. And now we can start to change things, like we can go through the calibration procedure. We shouldn't need to do that because it's been done from the factory. We can either set how the S-Bus channel settings are used. So if you have it connected to an S-Bus cable, which channels are going to be used for pitch and yaw control, and also to drop it back to home. Now, as I've read it, you can see here there's actually nothing set on mine. So I'm going to set this up. So channel 1 will set as pitch, I guess. You're going to be plugging this in a moment. I'll show you how it works with a PWM receiver. So channel 3 would be home. I won't set that up just for the demo. So we'll write that. Let's just read that back to confirm that that's okay in a moment. And then in terms of the S-Bus stuff, we can choose any one of the 16 channels. So if you have additional channels for maybe a pan and tilt setup for your goggles, or you've got sliders set or whatever, we could actually just choose them. So I'm going to choose channels 10 and 11, and I'll write that. So I would always recommend read the settings back just to confirm they have saved, because initially there was nothing. And also we need to change the fact that the camera is upward, pointing up, which means that the settings on the camera are going to work a little bit better. Now, one last thing to mention is there's actually two modes that this thing can run in. One is called speed mode, which is default, which is the one I'm going to demo in a moment. There's also angle mode as well. Angle mode, if you turn it on, makes it behave more like a servo. So angle mode would be perfect if you're going to use it with a pan and tilt, where when you let your hands off the sticks, the gimbal will return to the middle position. So now that's all done, we can also upgrade the firmware from here. We can then close it and go to the bench. So here on the bench, I've very quickly lashed it together just to try it out and see how it actually performs. This is a very old QX7 that I use for kind of things like this, using an X8R receiver. I've got the wires connected, this time into the PWM input as we just configured via the app, running it from the bench power supply. This one just out of frame is the Toolkit RC unit that I use quite a bit for this. But it's not powered at the moment, and it's just kind of sat there. This is the orientation that I'm thinking of using it, where it's actually upright, so maybe on the back of a radio controlled car, or maybe, I don't know, on the top of a plane maybe. Much smoother than something like a regular pan and tilt setup using servos. So let me just power it and it'll go through its routine. It should be set up from the factory, so that shouldn't need any calibration at all. So let me just turn on the bench power supply and it'll go through a calibration. Nice. And there we go, it's kind of set up. So this is going to be the front, and hopefully you can see here, I pick it up, as I move it from side to side, it's keeping everything nice and level. The camera is as well. And then what I also have, I have control over it via the receiver. Again, you could either do it via S-Bus, or at the moment I'm going to do it via good old PWM signals. And I can move it left and right, and it will go past 180 degrees, so you can kind of look back over the wings a little bit if it's on a plane. And I can also look up and down as well. Let me just zoom in to give you a closer view on that so you can see exactly how far it's all moving. There is a slight noise from it, a little bit of buzzing occasionally as it's trying to keep everything all straight and level. So you can see here, let me move this out of the way a little bit. That's the cable that's going to go into the camera, and that is the cable that's going to go into the sending unit. I kind of like the way that they've done that, actually, because it means that this thing can go into the Avatar VTX or your DJI Air unit, whatever you've got, and then you can just put the camera in here however you want. So let's just show you again. So maximum movement, so 100% left is right the way around there, 100% the other way is just over there, so it does come back a little bit. In terms of up and down, we can go down a little bit, but we can go pretty much completely up. So down a little bit and then all the way up. And I'm guessing in an inverted configuration that would be slightly better. I will ask them about this, because I would prefer the same amount of down and up from this as I'm currently getting. And then there is you can set it up on a switch that will kind of snap it back to the home location. So I just thought this would be interesting for those of you that are in the same boat as me, looking for a small lightweight gimbal that could do something like this. Obviously with the modern cameras from people like the Moonlight stuff from Walksnail and the O3A unit, things like the Moonlight camera from the Walksnail stuff, you can stabilize stuff in gyro flow afterwards. However, this could be an option for those of you that do want stabilization. I think it's less useful for things like aircraft, but maybe I'm going to put this on the back of a radio controlled car and see how it performs. If you have any questions, then do pop them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. But they're kind of excited that we're getting these smaller units. I wonder if that means that these guys will also produce them for some of the action cameras as well, because I've always wanted a very small, cheap, quick and easy pan and tilt setup for head tracking, but this is probably a little bit too big and a little bit too expensive for that. But stay tuned and hopefully we'll stick it on something like the back of a radio controlled truck and we'll see how it works in anger. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Pedantry 60 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.